in Denver as the Orange and Blue look to continue the climb up the Pacific Division standings as we get you set for the Oilers and Avalanche on the GCL Diesel Oil Stream pregame show. Hello, everybody. Good evening. Hope you're doing warm, staying warm, and doing good. Tom Gazzola and Derek Van Diest inside Boston Pizza Westgate on 170th Street and right across the street from West Edmonton Mall. Of course, GCL Diesel pregame show presented by the fine folks over at GCL Diesel, providers of the best diesel engine components around, from turbochargers to injectors, fuel pumps to sensors. They are the critical engine component experts, proud to serve Edmonton and Northern Alberta for over 50 years. YouTube Trev back at ESTHQ, and we highly encourage you to join the conversation. Hit us up on the text line 780-218-9999 or in the nasty chat as the Oilers look for another win in back-to-back nights. They won in Utah in overtime yesterday, and they're looking for another victory tonight in Denver against an Avs team that also played last night in Dallas, lost 5-3 to the Stars, had to travel like the Oilers, and so both teams in the same boat. We will have Meghan Angley joining us from Guerillas Sports, covering the Avalanche in a little bit. DVD, thanks for coming out. Thank you for filling in. You're in for Cass tonight, so you are our analyst. A lot of pressure and big shoes to fill.
Well, not really. Well, I know there's big shoes to fill, but I get a feeling that you're checking people off on the list, and you got to the bottom of it and go, so we're scraping the bottom of the barrel here.
I didn't say that.
So there's no pressure. When you're at the bottom of the barrel,
you're playing with house money.
No pressure,
friend.
exactly.
You're playing with house money.
Yeah.
YouTube Trev, get your cute little behind on here, and let's say hi to him.
YouTube Trev.
Yeah, he's in for Hernan. Hernan.
How you doing?
And look at that, Jasmine's here. All right. Oh, there we go. He's being clutch tonight.
It's a party now.
How's it going, boys?
Oh, there we go. Good to see you. Welcome back to the pre- and post-game show, pal. You're in for Hernan tonight. He was waiting for Hernan.
No, Hernan told me he had a thing yesterday.
Oh, he told you?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he said he had a family commitment.
There you go.
Yeah.
So
right.
family first.
No, that's fair. How's it going, Nasties? This is, sorry I cut you off there, boys, but how's it going, Nasties? This is good. Oh, it's good to be back. I tell you what, the last time I did this was one of the worst days of my life. It was Game 7 of the Stanley Cup Final, and I'll never forget that night. It was a tough one, but huge Oilers game yesterday, huge Oilers victory. Look at my hat right there. It says "Be Clutch." You knew it was clutch last night. Ryan Nugent-Hopkins with that one. So it's a marquee matchup. You've got four of the best players in the world, I'd say: Cale Makar, Nathan McKinnon, Leon Draisaitl, and Connor McDavid. This is the games that I look forward to most in the regular season, just because it's just the talent that you get to watch as a hockey fan. These are the ones you like to watch. So it's going to be fun, and I'm happy to be back behind the monitors producing the show tonight. It should be a good one, boys.
Yes, it will be. Great to have you back. We're going to have a lot of fun. Hopefully you can make it down here as well during the end. Look, you got the mustache going. It's last day of November. We saw Gene shave his mustache with Stauffer alongside him in the intermission yesterday. All right, this is one of 12 games on the NHL schedule. People starting to trickle their way in to Boston Pizza Westgate. DVD, we have great prizing tonight. Tony came by and he's like, all right, it's going to be a good one. So come on down. Every time you buy a beverage, you get a raffle ticket, and it goes into the bowl, the punch bowl. And we have an Oilers away jersey, a Fanatics one, so one of the new ones. We have a Heritage Classic hoodie. We have a bunch of Coors Light T-shirts, and we've got Miller Light T-shirts. I think they're women's T-shirts. And then there's some beanies, and then a bunch of $25 gift certificates to Boston Pizza. And then there's a record player as well that we're giving away tonight. Yeah, so we gave away a putter last time. You'll notice if you're watching tonight, you can see on the side of the screen a QR code. That's for Boston Pizza's Coors Light Golf Simulator, which is just over our shoulder in the corner. $20 an hour, best rate in the city. Curtis, Tony, and the crew say, come on down and play it, have a few beverages, watch the Oilers, and then they also have 6 o'clocker lager from Alley Cat available.
We're all set. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff on that table there.
There's a lot of stuff on that table.
There's a lot of stuff on that table.
Every time we do a pre- and post-game show at Boston Pizza Westgate, they have a lot of great prizing, and so you can pick up an Oilers jersey, an away one. We're going to be giving that away tonight. The Heritage Classic hoodie, they said it's their last one. Those are like collector's items now because they only did a limited run last season for the Heritage Classic, and then a bunch of Coors Light stuff. Some great swag. Oh, and a Travis Matthew golf shirt, I should add. I think it's an XL. Those ones are pretty nice, too. So come on down. It's starting to fill up here at Boston Pizza Westgate on 170th Street and 90th Ave, right across the street from West Edmonton Mall. I went to the mall yesterday to do the show at Hudson's. You came by for the post-game show. Absolutely insane. Absolutely insane. So if you don't want to put up with the crowds at the biggest mall in North America,
it's
come across
Black Friday. We showed up there. What day is today? Yeah, we were up. That was Black
Saturday.
Friday. Yeah. So we were at the mall on Black Friday.
Yeah.
I don't know what day of the week it is. I just know it's game day or not game day. I know it was game day yesterday.
Yes.
But now it just hit me that yesterday was Black Friday.
It was.
Obviously Black Friday is big in the States, but it's all over the world now. Everything's Black Friday.
Yeah.
It's not as fun as Blackout Wednesday, I understand, down in the United States. But that's, for those that don't know about Blackout Wednesday, that's when all the college kids come home and go out and have fun and blackout.
And have a time.
Yeah.
All right. The Oilers and Avs going head-to-head. Edmonton 12-9-2. The Avs 13-11. Edmonton with an OT win yesterday. Meanwhile, Colorado dropping a 5-3 decision in Dallas last night. Keep those texts coming in, 780-218-9999, and then get into the nasty chat if you're watching on YouTube. All right, we're going to talk about the Avs right now with Meghan Angley from Guerillas Sports. Let's bring her on. She's ready to go as it's a cold one here. I don't know what the weather's like in Denver. Meghan, great to have you back on the show. Is Derek right about Blackout Wednesday? Is that actually a thing, or is he making stuff up?
No, it's definitely a real thing. I'm not very cool, so I don't have a lot of friends in my hometown, so I don't participate, but it's very real.
Yes.
Okay.
It's awesome when I heard about it.
Did you participate?
No, I was in
on
Nashville. I was in Nashville. And there was a lot of stuff going on in Nashville. It was very busy on the Wednesday before Thanksgiving, and someone told me about Blackout Wednesday. That was
sounds
awesome.
like something you would take part in. All right, Meghan. Let's start with that game last night for the Avs in Dallas. Tough loss, obviously. How would you sum up the way things went for the Avalanche last night against the Stars?
I think it's been a common thread for a lot of their trouble this season, not having the starts that they want and being able to push late in games and bring the games back within reach, but it's too little too late. I think that's exactly what happened in Dallas last night. They brought it within reach, but they also made a risky decision to pull the goaltender too soon, and that one just got away from them in the end. A bit of a frustrating game then to come into now the second leg of a back-to-back after what probably could have been a game forced out of regulation last night, though they might not have been as well rested.
All right, I want to ask you this. We saw the Avs pull off a trade earlier in the day. Justus Annunen, and he's headed to Nashville in return for Scott Wedgwood. I saw the Alexander Georgiev blow up, was it last week? I thought that was funny, but that's not a good sign when your goalie's going berserk like that. What's happened with Georgiev so far this season? How would you describe his play? And then when you heard about this deal this morning, what were your thoughts?
It's been an interesting year for Georgiev. His opening 10 games to start the year, he struggled, really faltered. And what's been his weakness beyond just this season has been the mental side of the game and being overcome by emotion. And unlike a player like Nathan MacKinnon, who lets his anger boil over into games sometimes, it's never met with a productive result. When the emotional game gets away from Georgiev, he doesn't get better from it. And unfortunately, this is true of last season. He turned a corner after the Winnipeg series, being able to bounce back from game one. So there was high expectation that maybe he had solved the mental side of the game. But to see frustration boil over, not only in the start of this season, but then even when he rebounded in his play and started to play much better in the next 10 games that followed, this Tampa Bay Lightning game served as a huge wake-up call to the organization that they needed to move quickly on what they were going to do with goaltending in this team. Justus Annunen, a goaltender prospect, 24, turning 25 this year, just isn't ready to consistently be an NHL backup behind a goaltender like Georgiev, who can be so hot and cold. They needed a more secure stopgap in the crease, and that's what it boiled down to today. You know, it's not just the fault of Annunen that they have to make this decision. It's a combination of Georgiev's play not being consistently strong enough this year, and Annunen not being able to yank his name back in the starter conversation, which unfortunately was called into question this year. Mm-hmm. It is unfortunate that Georgiev wasn't a bona fide starter, past the 20-game mark for the Avs. He definitely swayed the conversation because he had some strong outings, but that's not new for Georgiev. He is a skilled goaltender who has strung together good performances for the team before. The challenge has always been that feeling of waiting for the other shoe to drop with him. If he does slip into a period of lows, it's usually followed by a few bad games as well. Obviously, in a playoff best of game situation, they can't afford to ride with that, especially if the backup is not maybe as tested, which is exactly what Annunen was. So they bring in then Scott Wedgwood, a veteran backup goaltender with a lot of experience behind some pretty darn good teams. Thorn in their side, opposite in the Dallas organization there for a little bit. I think it makes a lot of sense then what they ended up doing. And it still points to concern around Alexander Georgiev and what they're going to do with the goaltending situation moving forward.
Megan, great stuff, Megan. I want to ask you, I don't see enough Avs games because usually the Oilers are playing at the same time. We're in the same time zone. So unfortunately, I don't get to see enough of them play. And I love watching them play because I'm a big Carr fan. I'm a big McKinnon fan. But I want to ask you what's going on with Devon Toews here. He's got 7 points. He's a 50-point player pretty much every year. He's on pace for 28 points this season. What is going on with him? We were looking at him. That stat really jumps out at me because he's a much better player. He'll probably play for Canada at the Four Nations. What are you seeing out of his game this year?
I think it would be a mistake not to give Toews and Makar the chance to play together on Team Canada. But you're absolutely right to point out a dip in Toews' play. He has been dealing with an injury behind the scenes all year. He's not been at 100%, and so that has impacted some of his play. You look at the types of mistakes being made, and they definitely look like mental errors that such a good and smart defensive player ordinarily isn't making. But I think some component is being just a step behind to some of the plays that he would make. The read is there, but the execution isn't quite there because I think physically something is ailing him. I also think that this is something that because they've had a lot of options in their back end to rotate, hopefully they can give him the rest that he's needed throughout the rest of this regular season and try out some different options in that top four. However, the hits keep coming for the Avs, so they just lost Josh Manson. So they're going to have to be pretty strategic in how they balance Devon Toews' workload moving forward. But I also think something that impacts his game is when the team is struggling as a whole, its top players feel a lot of pressure and responsibility to help right the ship, and they end up sometimes stepping outside of their roles to overcompensate for what isn't going well on the team. And for a guy who already has so much responsibility, power play 2, big guy on the penalty kill, he's playing significant minutes every night. I think that just starts to wear on someone who's also such a leader on this team.
Meghan Angley joining us now as we talk about the Avalanche getting set for the Oil and the Avs. Meghan from Guerillas Sports covering the Avs in Denver. Okay, you mentioned Josh Manson, that injury. The injury ward is kind of full for Colorado. Miles Wood, Oliver Shillington, Jonathan Drouin, Ross Colton, and not to mention Gabe Landeskog, Tucker Poolman. I don't know how teams overcome this. And you look at the record that the Avs have, 13-11. You talked about the struggles about Georgiev's game. That's tough, and they still seem to be putting it together. They had a 7-3 mark in their last 10 as well. So is there anything positive on the injury front? Are we going to be seeing guys come back? You just said Devon Toews has been nicked up as well. Like, how would you sum this up? Are we ever going to see Gabe Landeskog come back? Give us the update there.
As far as Landeskog goes, there definitely was a bit of a setback just in terms of his expected return to practice and then the conversation around gameplay. That's where there's been a little bit of a stagnation, but nothing points to the fact that he won't make a return at some point in this season. That much has been reaffirmed by the organization recently, and so everybody's targeting kind of different timelines, but there's still an expectation that he'll return. I'm personally expecting more clarity on the Landeskog situation before the Four Nations period in February. I think they have to have a little more clarity because coming out of that break is the deadline, and they need to start having a different conversation once they get some more clarity around him. But as far as the overall injury outlook, I don't have a lot of optimism other than the identity of this team being very strong and the guys who are there really channeling the next man up mindset, and the headliners on this team that are still there, the McKinnon, Rantanen, McCarrs, have been stepping up in a big way as of late, and that has helped to carry this team. But the injuries for Manson, Drouin, it's not looking like something that they're going to return back very quickly from. And it's a shame, too. Like, even Miles Wood and Drouin are players who just got back into the lineup only to be taken out again.
Yeah, this is a team in its championship window still. They're not far removed from winning the Stanley Cup. They got, two of the best players in the world. What's the feeling like in Colorado, Megan? Is there concern surrounding this team? Like, we're quarter of the way through the season. They're just above 500. What is the feeling of this team? Is this still a championship caliber team, in your opinion, in the opinion of people in Colorado?
Yes, and I think recently, like the Tampa Bay game on the road, it wasn't even a game necessarily that they needed to win because they had a perfect road trip. Otherwise, I think it was the pride component. There were obvious frustrations that boiled over from that game, and it felt specifically pointed at goaltending. You look at the prime windows of McKinnon and Makar and Rantanen, and there is this maybe growing panic that you don't want to waste these years either with the competitive window wide open, especially taking a gamble on what's going on in net. And so I still feel that there's an overall calm around the team in terms of the pieces that are there, players like McKinnon being able to head up the charge. But I do think they need to be careful about how they handle the goaltending situation moving forward. I think the Scott Wedgwood decision was a great step in the right direction, but I think there is some morale that needs to be built up and some confidence around what's going on with the goaltending, because otherwise I think there's a lot of confidence in what this team is capable of.
We're joined by Meghan Angley from Guerillas Sports, covering the Colorado Avalanche. It's the GCL Diesel Oil Stream pregame show here on Edmonton Sports Talk. Tom Gazzola and Derek Van Diest live on location at Boston Pizza Westgate, just across the street from West Edmonton Mall. YouTube, Trev, back in our EST HQ. Text us 780-218-9999. And if you're watching on YouTube, hit that thumbs up button and you can get into the nasty chat. All right, Megan. This is the $1 million question. How do the Avs approach McDavid and Draisaitl, and all of a sudden the red hot Vasily Podkolzin? I almost started laughing, but he is playing well. He's got a 2-game heater, and he's been playing with either Draisaitl or McDavid or both of them. And I guess you could counter that with saying, how do the Oilers handle McKinnon and Rantanen? But what do you think the strategy is going to be like for the Avs tonight?
I think both teams are faced with potential fatigue, second leg of a back-to-back, and it's something that neither should take lightly. I think for the Avs, it's important to have a strong start in the first period. In particular, they haven't been great in the first period at home. There's that pride component, of course, but also teams know coming into Colorado playing at altitude to push really hard in that first period because they might not have their legs later in the game anyways, and the Avs haven't always been ready for it. So I think a strong start is really necessary for the Avs. And the other thing is their best games so far have been games that take care of things in their own end first by not making too risky of decisions. I think sometimes when they're really looking to generate offensively, they take risks that stray from their game a little bit in the offensive zone and lead to rush chances the other way. Edmonton is a team that is going to feast on that instantly. So I actually think they have to, as silly as it sounds, play a pretty simple game tonight and not stray from the details, because that's when they make the worst mistakes. I think the rest of it will take care of itself. McKinnon, though not held off the score sheet for very long, hasn't had a goal in a few games. That's someone that I'm looking to then break through some of the offense. The other thing is Alexander Georgiev. It was a huge news day in terms of goaltending in Colorado. He gets another start in net, and he needs to try and silence some of the concern around what's going on in Colorado's net by having a strong performance against a very good team.
I'm going to sneak one more question in, and it's about Val Nichushkin since his return to the lineup. Obviously, he's got to deal with issues off the ice, and it seems like. He's played 7 games. Looks like he's doing well. A few goals, a few assists in that time. How is he in his return on the ice? And then what's your sense of how he's amalgamated back with the team off the ice?
I have a lot of optimism around Nichushkin. His availability coming back from this player assistance program stint was so much more thoughtful. He really took the time to hear each individual question and try to give it a real answer versus something that was rehearsed and just repeated to every question. And I appreciated that. He talked about the commitment to getting things right mentally and how he felt so much stronger and in a better place coming back this time around. And I think that showed a little more accountability too, just in taking ownership of what happened and what kept him away from this team. You know, it was a 6-month suspension.
Yeah.
It's not something to take lightly. And in the game since his return, he has looked ever powerful. Like, there's been rust to shake off in his game, but the power in his skating has not looked like a player who's missed 6 months of hockey. And he had a big role in the game just before their loss to Dallas against Vegas, obviously the shootout winner. So I think he's starting to find his stride again. And I have expectation right now for him to be the impact player that he was for the Avs in the Cup run. He just has to continue checking in with himself the way that I feel like he is holding himself accountable.
Megan, great information as always. Really appreciate your time, especially on Thanksgiving weekend down in the U.S. Enjoy the Oilers and Avs game, and we'll have to do this again. Appreciate it so much, okay?
Thanks, guys.
There you go. There's Meghan Angley from Guerillas Sports in Denver covering the Avalanche. Great stuff. Indeed, because great answers. And then
stuff,
the Nichushkin stuff. I'm glad we got that in there because that was a big story in the playoffs.
Yep. Yeah.
Kind of derailed what the Avs had going.
Second year in a row we did that.
Man, oh man, yeah. So good stuff there from Megan, and we appreciate her time. Give her a follow if you want to stay up to date on the Colorado Avalanche. All right, let's roll along here. We're having a good time at Boston Pizza Westgate. Tom Gazzola, Derek Van Diest with you on location. And then we've got Jasmine. Jasmine's here from the Hangout. You can catch her on EST. YouTube Trev back at EST HQ. And we're getting some text coming in, which is great. Keep those coming, 780-218-9999. And then get at us via the Nasty Chat. We'll get you up to speed on lineups right away when the teams hit the ice for warm-up in a few minutes. We can tell you who the starting goalies are. It's going to be Stu Skinner for the Oilers. The 26-year-old is 7-6-2 with a 323 GAA. 882 save percentage, one shutout in 15 games this season, DVD. That's not good enough. We know that. The averages aren't good. Win-loss record is getting better. That's important. 2-1-2 is Skinner's record versus the Avs lifetime. 291 goals against average, 923 save percentage in 5 appearances versus Colorado. And then at the other end of the rink, it will be 28-year-old Alexander Georgiev, like Megan was talking about. He's also 7-6 this year. No overtime or shootout losses. He's got a 333 goals against average, 872 save percentage in the 15 games he's played. Lifetime versus the Oilers, Georgiev 5-2-3, 355 GAA, 902 save percentage in 10 appearances versus the Oil. Okay. We do need to get to the Advantage Sports Medicine and Physiotherapy injury report because at Advantage Sports Medicine and Physiotherapy, we treat you like the pros. Our multidisciplinary team includes sports medicine physicians, along with highly skilled physiotherapists, strength and conditioning coaches, and massage therapists. Whether you're recovering from an injury or looking to enhance performance, we treat you like a pro using the same locker room approach trusted by the best in the game. For the Oilers, Zach Hyman, undisclosed. Victor Arvidsson, IR, undisclosed. I tried asking. I was getting the door shut on me on that one.
Oh, yeah. We've been, yeah.
And Vander Kane, LTIR, abdominal surgery, or IR, abdominal surgery. For Colorado, you heard Megan talking about Josh Manson. He got banged up the other night. He's out. Miles Wood, IR, upper body. Oliver Shillington, day-to-day, undisclosed. Jonathan Drouet, day-to-day, upper body. Ross Colton, IR, fractured foot. Gabe Landeskog, IR, knee. He's been dealing with that for 2 calendar years now. And then Tucker Pullman, IR head. He was put on the IR, I think, back in September. So not good there. The injury ward and woes continue for the Colorado Avalanche. DVD, any thoughts?
Yeah, well, Landeskog, this is a guy that, he always seems to have setbacks. He'll be ready. He'll have a setback. looks like he's ready. He's going to have a setback. And to be honest, like I've heard talk that he may not come back. I know a lot of people are saying he will come back at the end of this season.
Yeah.
But remember last year, all year, they said, he'll be back for the end of the season. He'll be back for the end of the season. He'll be back for playoffs. He'll be back. And he never came back. So this is it's a tough injury for him. But every time he seems to be ready to play, he gets a setback, and then he's set back again, which is a shame because he's a great player. He's a great guy to talk to. I'm sure they really love him in that dressing room. He's just such a good player.
Yeah.
They need him, and this is a big piece of their puzzle. This is their Ryan Nugent-Hopkins, right? He went number 2 in the draft when Ryan Nugent-Hopkins went number 1.
Yes.
Gabriel Landeskog
was a great pick.
could have very easily been an Edmonton Oiler, right? So this is one of those situations, and going into that draft, you do pick Ryan Nugent-Hopkins, you pick Landeskog. It was very close at the time. So he's a very good player. He fits very well on that team. He's a captain of that team.
Mm-hmm.
And so you hope for the best, but it has been a long stretch here where everyone says, he'll be a couple weeks, and a couple weeks has never come. Like it's really unfortunate because the league needs a player like that. He's a great player. He's a great person, great leader, and they need that player. So you hope he comes back, but like how long is this going to drag out? It's like you said, it's been 2 calendar years since he's been on the ice. So
I mean, he was at Eric Johnson's 1,000th game celebration. Eric Johnson no longer a member of the Colorado Avalanche, and Landeskog can go and do things like that. And I know the Avs were playing against. Was he in Philly now? But so it's just. I guess if you're an Avs fan, it's super frustrating to be without your captain for so long, and to see where the team's at right now, there's some frustration. Okay, DVD, we're going to do something. We want to get our listeners and viewers involved. Thank you, Faith. Faith, by the way, is the one that modeled for us, did the jersey and then the hoodie, and I'm going to ask you to grab, Jasmine, can you grab that hoodie really quickly? Yes, because we want to get prizes out to a listener or viewer tonight. Thank you very much. Jasmine, come in here. No, you show it off. Give it to Jasmine.
There you go.
Jasmine's here.
I'll be your
You're gonna be you're gonna be the model for us. Okay, so this is what we want to do. YouTube, Trev. We were gonna do question of the night, but instead, Trev, I'm gonna give you a few minutes. Come up with a trivia question.
That's really nice.
And then we're gonna and this was Tony's idea from BP Westgate. He said, okay, for this Heritage Classic hoodie, we want to give it away to someone who's either watching or listening. So text us 780-218-9999 or get in the nasty chat. Trev's going to throw out a trivia question, and then the winner of that, the right answers only, obviously, will get this Heritage Classic hoodie. What size is it?
Let's see.
Jazz.
It is
there it is, the tags there. It's
an XL.
It's an XL, so okay.
Perfect.
It should be
for after Thanksgiving.
Yes.
Exactly. Okay, so that's up for grabs. Trev, you can think of a trivia in a few minutes. So we've got half an hour left in the pregame show.
Yeah, I can think of something.
Yeah.
Probably like nothing too crazy hard, but not a gimme either, right? Something in the middle.
Yeah, it's a little bit of a challenge.
Okay, I'll make it a challenge.
Right?
I can do that.
Yeah. Okay.
Make it hard.
She says make it hard.
Colorado's gonna bring it, so make it hard.
Oh, okay. Jasmine's fired up. What the heck are you? What's going on? Who did you bring tonight?
Okay, we're gonna do a shot, then I'm gonna go, and I might come back later.
Okay. Put the hoodie back, and then let's do that, and then Jasmine's going to go. So that's how we're going to get our audience participation. You have a chance to win that sweet Heritage Classic Oilers hoodie. All right. Cheers, everyone.
Cheers to these guys.
All right.
The pre-show and the post-show.
Thank you. Yes. Cheers. Oh, lovely fireball.
Yeah.
Thank you, Jasmine. Thank you. All right. We're off and running here on the GCL Diesel pre and post game show. Like I said, that hoodie is going to go to one of our listeners or viewers. We're going to throw out the trivia question. Trev's thinking one up. And then if you do come down to BP here, every drink you purchase gets you a ticket. And then that ticket goes into the raffle, and at the first intermission, second intermission, and then right before the end of the game here at the lounge, we will draw for those prizes. The grand prize, the Oilers away jersey, a Fanatics one, it's a new one. There's a Travis Matthew golf shirt. There's also a record player, like one of those new record players. Yeah. And then there's
records are coming back.
They're coming back. I know, vinyl, and it's expensive too.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I have all those. My dad has his big vinyl collection that he hasn't thrown away. So.
Now it's very niche, but
Cat
very
Stevens is coming back, baby.
Oh, snap. I have no idea who that is. Anyway, I don't know who that is. Coors Light T-shirts, Miller Lite T-shirts, and I think some beanies as well. Tony might have a few other goodies in the back. So come on down, Boston Pizza Westgate. If you're not doing anything, Tube Socks is here. My dad showed up, and Jasmine and her crew are also here. People starting to come down, have a bite to eat, and have something to drink. I've got some GCs that come with Miller Lite T-shirts as well. Okay, well, Trev, you let us know whenever you have the trivia question. We'll let you fire that out there. This is the first of 3 meetings between the Oilers and the Avalanche as we head on to Game Changers with our analyst tonight, Derek Van Diest, in for Matt Cassian. Game Changers, as always, brought to you by Damon Bunting, RE/MAX Elite. Damon Bunting, consistent top-producing realtor in Greater Edmonton and among Western Canadian RE/MAX realtors. He and his team would love to help you find that right home or make the move from your current home. Community-driven, understands what it takes to make a difference in our city. Check him out, DamonBunting.com, or visit his Instagram at Damon Bunting Real Estate. DVD number 1 tonight, when you're looking at this game, is Stuart Skinner.
Stuart Skinner. So we talked to him extensively before the team left town. Stuart's a fantastic guy. Nothing really bothers him. He's a guy that kind of goes with the flow. He's got this surfer dude mentality, which is a good mentality to have when you're a goalie. Nothing really bothers him. But he's got to get those numbers up. And I know he said he's not a guy that looks at numbers, but you have to have your save percentage over 900. You have to have your goals against average under 3. You got to get those numbers. You got to be better numbers. And This is a guy that he was being touted to play for Team Canada at the Four Nations, and now he may have played himself off the roster.
I agree.
Is he still on there? Like it's tough. There's not a clear cut number 1 guy for Canada for the Four Nations, which. In saying that, there's not a clear-cut guy for Canada for the Olympics next year. So I think that's the big thing. You're looking down the line. And Stuart Skinner, he's in his 3rd year. Sometimes you forget that. And he's really only in his 2nd year as a full-time starter. And as Matthias Ekholm said that he was kind of thrust into that role.
Correct.
Right? So I think that's one of the things, that sometimes you forget that he was a guy that was supposed to work his way into that role. And
this would be the year.
This would be the year, probably this or maybe next year. Because Jack Campbell, if he had worked out, he was on a contract for 5 years. Right? So he's going to be Jack Campbell's understudy for at least 5 years. That was the plan. Obviously, it didn't work out that way, and he was thrust into this role. And for the most part, he took the team, he backstopped the team to Game 7 of the Stanley Cup Final. That's not an easy thing to do. But I think consistency is the thing with Stuart Skinner. You can't have 2 good games and then a bad one. You can't, make 25 good saves and then let in a bad goal.
Yeah.
And I think that's part of the issue here is that he's got to get that bad goal out of his system. Like there's been times when, let's be honest, the Oilers have hung him out to dry when the guys are getting opportunities right in front of the net.
Yes.
Okay. But it's saying that you have to bail your team out every now and then. You have to come up with those big saves. And I think he's got to find that consistency in his game. And I've said this for a long time, is that the Oilers don't need lights-out goaltending. They have enough offense to win games. You just got to stop. Don't let them score more than 3, and you probably win 80% of your hockey games. I think that's the situation with Stuart Skinner right now. The Oilers have confidence in everyone I talk to today. We have confidence in Stu. He's going to find his game. It's just a matter he's got to get it consistently, and he's got to get on a bit of a run here.
Trev, do you want to jump in? Feel free to get yourself on here and incorporate yourself as much as possible, because I want to hear your thoughts. Because Trev's got his channel Above Average, as well as his work on the morning show here with us, and he's filling in. Good to have him back on the pre- and post-game show. But if you want to hop in, Trev, your thoughts on Stu Skinner, point number 1 by DVD here on Game Changers.
Yeah, I mean, I couldn't agree more. I'm like 2. First off, I'm almost done with my trivia question. I almost got that one locked and loaded.
All good. Sorry to interrupt you, by the way.
Yeah, no worries. But it's been tough. I love Stuart Skinner. I do think they were so close from winning the Stanley Cup with this guy. He's good enough of a goalie. We're just not seeing that right now, and it's just the consistency. That's aside from the numbers, yes, I'd like to see the numbers come up, but with the numbers comes consistency, and that's something I'd like to see more. He looks great one day, and it's kind of been the Oilers, that's what the fans have been saying all season long. It's been this roller coaster, right? They're good one game, and then they're bad, and then you saw what they were able to do against the Rangers, which was probably their best showing all season. And so we were just all last week, we were kind of just speculating, this team might be back, and then if it wasn't for those power plays and a little bit of a slow start yesterday, the Oilers, I don't know, they may have got lucky in last night's win, but it's the consistency for me, and but it's the whole team in front, right? Like he can't be held like hanging high and dry, which we've seen so often. So the team needs to be better in front of him, which they certainly can be, but he's got to be better. And it's just the consistency. He's got to put some like four games together. I don't think he's done that all season long.
Well said, YouTube Trev. All right, keep yourself on there as we roll along. You can do your trivia, get that all ready to go. All right, that was point number 1 on Game Changers. Attaboy. He's beating clutch right now. Great hat. Shout out to our buddy Jesse Kirschenbaum, the founder of Be Clutch. Great gear. He's joined us on Hello Hockey once or twice. Okay, point number 2, Derek Van Diest. Penalty kill. This thing has been good lately.
Yeah, it's been good, and it's got to be better. Obviously, they're at 29th, I think, right now.
Yeah.
Right? And you're right. They killed their last 17. You knew there was going to be issues. Obviously, when you got rid of Cody Ceci, you got rid of Vincent Desharnais. They were 2 big parts of the power play or penalty kill last year. And you bring guys in, there was going to take some time kind of work their way through it. Fogle was part of that penalty kill last year.
Yes, he was.
They had a lot of speed up front that could take the puck back the other way, and I think they're slowly starting to figure out, but they're still 29th in the league. Like it's still at 71%.
17 for 17 in the last
17 for 17. They're still 29th in the league. What are we at? With 71.4% efficiency. That's not good enough. Like if you're going to be a championship caliber team, you got to get that up higher. You got to get that better. But obviously that's a great turning point here at 17 for 17.
Yep.
You got to win the special teams battle every night. If you're gonna, that's such a key. 5-on-5, you even out, but the Oilers should be good for at least 1 power play, maybe 2 power play goals a night, depending on the number of penalty opportunities they get, power play opportunities they get. So, but you got to win the special teams battle, but it's tough to do when you're giving up 2 penalty goals on a penalty kill a night. So which was the situation early on in the year. They've turned it around. I think they're more aggressive. They've kind of. And they've just they're working in sync. I think early on
the timing seems better.
Yeah, because I think early on guys they're going out of place, and then they got caught running around, and then suddenly no one's in front of the net, and there you go. Like when you get caught running around in the power play, usually the front of the net is where you leave it. Like it's really weird. Like a lot of guys, I got to cover for this guy, then I got to cover for this guy, then I cover for this guy, and suddenly no one's covered the front of the net. So yeah, it's a situation that has to be better. It's getting better, but it's still got a long way to go to improve because you can't be at 71%.
No, it can't. This is the best it's been basically since the start of the year. And like this stretch that it's had, the last goal they allowed was on November 9th against the Canucks. It was in garbage time at the end of the game, and that was the one where like Darnell Nurse batted it lightly into the slot.
Yeah, and Stuart Skinner was pretty upset after that. He was not happy about that. It was a 7-3 goal, and he was really mad.
That was 21 days ago, the last time they allowed a power play goal against, which is great. But DVD, like you said, they've killed off in the last 8 games every single opportunity, and it's only vaulted them into 29.
Yeah.
At 71%, just over 71%.
So that's how bad it was at the beginning of the season.
I'm going to add this into the mix. How about the power play? Because the power play is starting to show some signs of life as well. The power play coming into action tonight is 22nd in the NHL. That's not great, especially for this group.
Nope.
But are there some encouraging things? It connected twice, and helped lead the charge, getting the comeback going, and then eventually, Nugent Hopkins does his thing in overtime and they win it. But are you seeing some good signs there from the power play outside of them just being able to finally light the lamp?
Well, a little bit, but what I see in the power play is that they give the puck to McDavid, let him skate around the zone, and they got Bouchard stands at the blue line, Draisaitl stands at his spot right by the net.
Bye,
Jasmine. Great to see you.
Bye, Nasty. See you tonight after.
Oh, are you coming here after too?
Right,
oh my
awesome.
God, stay out of trouble, okay? Thanks for coming, ladies. Good to see you. All right.
So we're saying,
play.
It's so predictable. Like it's been so good, but it's been so predictable. You got Hyman in front of the net, Draisaitl in the corner, Bouchard up top, and Nugent Hopkins is kind of a retrieval guy, but it's been so they just give the puck to McDavid, watch him skate around the zone and try and find somebody.
Yeah.
They got to do more. They got to move around. There's not enough movement. You talk about being connected. They weren't connected there.
Yeah.
I think having Corey Perry there for Hyman, right, gives it a little different look. Like Corey Perry, like Zach Hyman, is one of the best guys in front of the net. Mm-hmm. I think he's a little greasier than Hyman is.
He's definitely greasy.
He will stick the goalie. Like he'll get the goalie's attention. Hyman is a kind of a guy. he's a guy that'll stand there and do what he has to do. But Perry at one point he's going to stick a goalie, he's going to stick a defenseman.
Yes.
That's just the way he does. But I think that's helped a little bit because now it's taken some of the attention away. Like when you got to watch Corey Perry and he's a greasy player, and I think he's a guy that you want on your team. And I think he's helped a little bit. But also, let's give the second unit some love here. Like these guys are out there for 2 minutes.
Why they don't play?
They don't like give them an opportunity here. Like these guys are sitting there on the second unit going, "Oh, I'm going to get 10 seconds on this power play."
Well,
but hey, if that power play was at 30% or 33%, I'd understand.
Anything.
That'd be fine. But what are we at here? We're at 22%. You said, or
no, it's worse than that. It's in. Here we go. I have the stats.
What was it? I was looking it up.
18.3%, 22nd in the NHL.
Exactly. That's when I would, as a coach, say, boys, don't be staying out there for a minute 50 if you're at 18.3%.
It's hard to say that to the
I
best
get
players
that,
in the world.
but you're at 18.3%.
It's not that great.
You talk about this is a results business.
Mm-hmm.
That's results. That's like, hey, get results because they take it for granted that they're going to be able to stay out there for 2 minutes and try and get this thing done. And it starts from faceoffs first off. Draisaitl's going to stop getting kicked out of the faceoff circle. I don't know what he's doing, but he's getting thrown out almost 3 or 4 times a game.
These linesmen piss me off, and it's not just with the Oilers games. It's any game I watch. I'm like, just drop the damn
just drop the puck, and there's intricacies and nuances there. He's getting tossed 3 or 4 times a game. So it starts by winning the draw, and then it starts. I think they're too stagnant. I think they got to get a bit of motion. And teams are going to scout this power play. They're not going to just stand there and go, the power play's going to score 32%. There's nothing we can do. No, they're very smart players, very smart coaches. There is things they can do, and I think the Oilers got to try and stay a step above. But that's what I've been seeing on the power play now is that you got 4 guys standing there and watching McDavid skid around the zone with the puck.
All right, it is Game Changers brought to you by Damon Bunting Remax Elite with Derek Van Diest tonight in for Matt Cassian. Number 1 was Stu Skinner. Number 2 was Penalty Kill. We extended that to Power Play as well. Number 3 on Game Changers tonight, DVD, the Nuge. Big goal last night.
The Nuge, that was a big goal for him, and hopefully that doesn't get him going. This is a guy that the Oilers need going. They need that second wave of offense.
Yes.
And it starts with him, right? You can't depend on Draisaitl and McDavid every night. You can't have them score. Oh, if they don't get 3 points tonight, the Oilers aren't going to win. They need those other guys, and they have those other guys. They have secondary scoring now. They have a bit more balance. So you need those guys to come around. That was a huge goal for Ryan Nugent-Hopkins. Great play by him. And we always talk about, this is a guy that, even if he's not getting it done on offense, he's getting it done on defense. He's a very responsible two-way guy. Mm-hmm. But you need him to contribute. This is a guy that he should get 25 to 35 goals for you every year. I know he had that 1 year he had 50 goals. That was a bit of an anomaly.
Yeah.
But he's
Are you talking about Hyman here?
No, Nugent-Hopkins.
Nugent he'd never had 50.
Didn't even go.
No, he's had 30.
Sorry, what am I thinking? 100 points. No, he had 100 points.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, that's what I'm thinking. 100 points.
2 seasons ago, he had 100
2 seasons, 100 points. That's what I'm thinking. I'm getting my guys mixed up. Yeah, 100 points. So this is a guy that is capable of doing that.
Yes.
But he's got to contribute offensively to do that. So, I think that was a huge confidence is always a thing.
Of course.
I don't care how long you've been in the league. I don't care how many games you've won, how many goals you've scored. Confidence is always a thing. I don't care how many radio shows you've been on. It's all about confidence. 3. Right? I'm just saying. So it's always a thing. Yeah. And I think, that goal is going to go a long way.
Nicely done. All right. We have a trivia question. That was Game Changers brought to you by Damon Bunting Remax Elite with Derek Van Diest. Hello, YouTube. Trev, you've got a trivia question. So
yes, I do.
Here's the rules. We've got that. DVD, grab that hoodie again. I know Jasmine left, but she was showing it off. You're not as good looking as Jasmine, but you're still
not even close.
You're still all right. You're still
not
all right.
even close.
We've got this XL.
Look at this.
Oilers Look at this. Look at that. Oilers Heritage Classic hoodie. It's a XL, and Tony from Boston Pizza here. Westgate said, "I want to give it away to the audience, so you don't have to be in-house for this one." And he specifically asked for a trivia question. Trev has that trivia question. Text your answer in to 780-218-9999 or in the nasty chat. YouTube, Trev, take it away, my friend, for this really, really nice Oilers Heritage Classic hoodie from last season.
Look at that. I might rig this so I win that bad boy. Just joking. So this is a good segue. Speaking of Nugent-Hopkins, I was thinking, overtime winners. And I was like, man, when did Ryan Nugent-Hopkins, or what team did he get his first overtime game-winning goal against? So that is the trivia question. What team did Ryan Nugent-Hopkins get his first career overtime game-winning goal against? And I had to do some due diligence here. I had to look back, and I was kind of surprised by the answer, but I double-checked and I triple-checked. So if I'm wrong, oh gosh, I hope I'm not wrong. I don't think I'm wrong.
I hope you're not wrong.
I'm looking at it right now, so I'm pretty confident I know the answer. But that is the question to the trivia for this nice Heritage Classic extra large hoodie. One more time. What was the team that Ryan Nugent-Hopkins scored his first overtime game-winning goal against?
780-218-9999. You got about 12 minutes to get your answers in, and then YouTube Trev will randomly select a winner and text you. Big thank you to Tony here at Boston Pizza Westgate for all the great prizing. And he was already talking about December 3rd. We're back here. What he's got in store then. Him and Curtis have been excellent. If you're watching on YouTube, you'll notice on the side of the screen QR code. That's going to take you to the Coors Light Golf Simulator, which is just over our shoulders. And you can book your tee time via the QR code here at BP Westgate. And in the hourly rate DVDs, $20 an hour, which is really good.
That's really good.
I think from every sim place I've seen in the city, that's the lowest rate.
Yeah.
I think there's a couple of other bars that are around there, but that one's the lowest that I've seen and heard thus far. All right, the Oilers and the Avalanche. Do you look at Colorado as a contender still?
I do. Like, as long as you have star players on your team, I think you always are a contender. Like star players in their prime.
Right.
And they get guys, star players in their prime. It's just a matter of you just got to surround them with good supporting cast.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, those star players and McKinnon, I know he's a bit of he's got 3 points in his last 9 games. That's a slump for him. That's a slump for him. He's a great player. I love watching him play. And he's a competitor too. Like he's a fire competitor. And I still think their window's open. And I think that's just a matter of getting the little things sorted out, right? You got to get their goaltending sorted out. You got to get some things on the back end sorted out. But they're right to me. They're right in the thick of it here. You look at there's maybe 4 or 5 teams that can come out of the West this year, and I think Colorado is definitely one of them.
All right, let's get to some texts. Keep those coming in. 780-218-9999. All right, we're starting to see some answers. One text says Megan's on fire. And then also added, let's go with Pickard. Keep this train moving. Anthony out of Long Island. Pickard was all right last night. He made a huge save on Schmaltz, and that's what you need. But he's not your
starter. He's not the starter. So he's coming in, done his job. He earned the job last season. He did a good job. He was supposed to come up here for 2 weeks and then go back or whatever.
Yeah.
And he never left. So good on him. But he's a very dependable goaltender. But he's not your number one guy. Stuart Skinner is your number one guy, and you got to go with him.
All right, T-Man texting and says, Kapanen had a nice chance last night. He pots one tonight, hit that crossbar.
Yep.
What have you made with his game so far, or of his game so far through 3?
Well, it's tough to, he's a guy that is trying to fit in, and they're giving him opportunity. They played him on the top line. So they're giving him opportunity because they want to see what he has. They want to see if this guy is a player. And if you're going to do that, you give him spots on the top 6. He's been okay. But I think if you get that opportunity, you really kind of try and make the most of it. Yeah, hit the crossbar, but you got to really be noticeable if you're playing beside McDavid or Draisaitl or in that top 6 role. And I think there's too many shifts where you don't even notice him out there. So I think he's got to be more involved in the game.
All right, your starting goalies for tonight: Stu Skinner, 7-6-2 on the season, 323 goals against average, 882 save percentage, 1 shutout in the 15 games he's played. His record versus the Avs: lifetime 2-1-2 DVD, 291 GA, 923 save percentage in 5 games versus Colorado in his career. And then at the other end of the rink, the Avs going back to Alexander Georgiev tonight. He played last night in Dallas. The Avs trading for Scott Wedgwood today. Wedgwood, I don't believe, is ready to go, so Georgiev will get the start. They traded Justus Annunen the other way, going to Nashville. But Georgiev, so far this season, 7-6 with a 333 GAA, 872 save percentage in 15 games. They thought he was the guy when they made the move for him out of New York. Georgiev versus Edmonton, 5-2-3 record, 355 goals against average, 902 save percentage in 10 games against the Oilers over the course of his career. How do you look at this guy? I mean, I feel
he
like
supposed to be the next Arturs Urbay? Like he's from Latvia, isn't he?
Arturs Urbay. Where is he from? I thought he was Russian.
I thought he was Latvian. I could be wrong.
You're thinking of like Merzlikins,
maybe
all these guys.
Maybe is he
Russian.
Russian?
Yeah.
I'm thinking of another guy then.
He's Bulgarian. Pardon me. I should have known better.
Bulgarian.
Yeah, he's Bulgarian.
Yeah, maybe. Okay. I thought he was from somewhere like the Bulgarian. Okay.
He's Bulgarian. So there you go.
So, but yeah, you know what? He played so well with the Rangers for a little while, and I remember he came in with the Rangers. And he stood on his head against the Oilers one night. So, yeah, and that kind of opened eyes and like, whoa, this guy can play. But, yeah, it's just a matter of, again, it's about consistency. It's like you got to find that consistency when you're starting goaltender, and that means you have to play well every night because you're going to be based on your bad starts, not your good starts. You're going to be based on your bad starts when you're starting goal.
I want to ask you one thing. We were talking about this on the post-game show last night. It was Evan Bouchard's game. He had 2 points, but he's still -3. We're talking about you got the power play points, and obviously you don't get pluses for those. Yeah. But is he finding his game, or is it still kind of a lot to be desired?
I think defensively, there's a lot to be desired. He just doesn't seem to have defensive awareness. Like offensively, he's fantastic. He knows where to go. He knows what to do. He's fantastic. But sometimes he gets lost in his own zone.
I know.
And I hate that snow angel defense, like sliding and just kind of giving himself up. Like that bothers me. If I was coaching hockey, if you're coaching hockey, tell your kids, stay on your feet. Do not, Steve Stales used to do it all the time.
Right.
He just flop it on and he just swipe it away.
Well, if Steve Stales is doing it.
Steve Stales. Stay on your feet. If you're a defenseman, stay on your feet. Don't give yourself up. I think that's the number one rule. It bothers me to see it at the NHL level. But I'm sure if you're a forward and some guy just flops in front of you, you're like, awesome. I'll skate around.
I'll skate around.
Yeah, you got so many options.
Yesterday,
stay on your feet. And I think it just obviously defense doesn't come naturally to him. He's an offensive defenseman. Sure. But if you're going to be a $10 million defenseman like he wants to be, you got to play both sides of the puck. And you got to be outstanding defensive defenseman, outstanding offensive defenseman. And you can't just be one-sided. And you're right, you can't have 2 assists and end up -3. He's just got to be better. And I think it's a situation where last year, I think Matthias Ekholm covered up a lot of his warts. He's not doing that as much this year.
Right.
So I think it's a bit of an onus on Evan Bouchard to kind of figure it out defensively. Do what you got to do. But it's not natural instinct with him when it comes to his own end of the ice.
I think he will figure it out. He has done it in the last couple of years, but it takes time for him to really hone in on that. But, a lot to be desired indeed. All right, YouTube, Trev, get on here again. Let's get some final thoughts from you and then throw out the trivia question one more time. We have a couple more minutes, and then you're going to pick a winner. You're going to contact them via text, I believe. Okay. Is that correct?
Yes, I can definitely do that. Tommy, am I picking? I think it's only fair if I pick the person that texted it in first, right? Because
the first correct answer. That's fair.
Yeah.
Okay, that's fair.
And I should have said that.
The first correct answer instead of at random.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I like that.
Okay, sweet. Well, we're going to go with that then. But final thoughts on today's game. It's tonight's game, I should say. It's going to be a good one. I want to see the Oilers with a strong start. They had a sluggish start yesterday, and I guess you could credit that to being off for almost a week, 6 days there. So stronger start tonight. No excuse for being tired or not being in the game. You should be invested. You should be involved right as soon as the puck drops. So I'd like to see a strong start. You guys talked about the power play. I think yesterday was the first time that I was kind of like, okay, the power play had some decent looks, and so keep it up on the power play, and then as well as on 5-on-5, because the Oilers, if it wasn't for the power play yesterday, they probably weren't winning that one. So just be a little bit more productive offensively, defensively, 5-on-5, and then you should be good. That's all you got to do to get a win in the NHL, Tommy, and DVD, right? Simple as that, right?
Easy.
No big deal.
Simple,
NBD.
Just win the 5-on-5 and special teams and get better goaltending. Yeah. You should be fine.
All right, Trev, have you gotten a right answer for the Heritage Classic?
Yes, I've been seeing lots of right answers. At first, the first few texters that we had, they were all wrong answers, and so that made me question if I had the right answer. But then I started seeing the right answer, the right answer, the right answer. So we do have a winner. Am I saying that now? Can I announce that now?
Do you want to know?
Or I'll say like what the answer was, but then I'll contact.
Okay, say the answer, and then you'll contact the winner, and I'll provide the information to Tony here at Boston Pizza Westgate, and he'll have it available to pick up.
Boom. Awesome. Yeah, so Ryan Nugent-Hopkins, he scored his first ever goal against the same team, and it is the Pittsburgh Penguins in 2013-14. He got his first overtime game-winning goal against the Pittsburgh Penguins. So that is it. That's your answer.
Nicely done.
The Pittsburgh
Penguins. There you go. We got some audience participation, which is great.
Perfect.
Big thank you to Tony for making that available, and some great prizes still available, including an Oilers jersey, an away one, a Fanatics one, so it's the new one, and then it also does not have the sponsor patch on it, because I know they've been selling them at the team store with sponsor patches.
Okay.
This one doesn't have that. It's fresh out of the bag. We pulled it out for the modeling picture on our social media accounts on Edmonton Sports Talk. So come on down, Boston Pizza Westgate. If you're not doing much, I know the roads are a little bit dicey, but take it at a safe pace. Go too slow, that's just as dangerous as going too fast.
Safe pace. No, the roads, and there's a lot of traffic out there for lots on Saturday, but drive carefully. Don't be an idiot on the road.
Absolutely. Okay, good to have you two, Trev, back in tow. You're going to be back for the post-game show as well. Thanks for filling in for Cast tonight. Huge thank you to Meghan Angley from Guerillas Sports covering the Colorado Avalanche for hopping on, giving us the scoop on the Avs. It's the Oilers and Avs first of 3 meetings this season. They'll do it one more time in Colorado, and then I believe it's February 7th. They'll wrap up the season series here in Edmonton. All right, for YouTube, Trev, look at that mustache. And Derek Van Diest, I'm Tom Gazzola saying thanks for listening. Thank you for watching. Well, we appreciate you. Enjoy the Oilers versus the Avs. We'll catch you on the post-game show. Ciao for now.